Now, joining us live from ANC headquarters in Lutuli House is ANC Youth League National Spokesperson Mlondi Mkhize to give us more detail on this issue. Mr. Mkhize, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Now, you mentioned in your... Go ahead, sir.
Well, thank you for the invitation to be part of the discussion today.
Sir, you've referred to the results as a catastrophe, and with good reason. I mean, we saw only 206,000 jobs were created in this last quarter. 100,000 people lost their jobs. People without jobs, rather, rose by 100,000. And also discouraged job seekers increased to 249,000. This is a catastrophe.
Well, indeed it is. As a result, we felt that it is important that we need to engage different stakeholders that are capable of creating employment. As you would have seen, and you are aware, I'm sure, that there was a march of the Youth League in Ekurhuleni precisely demanding that work employment opportunities, we need them. The youth of South Africa remains amongst the most vulnerable in terms of employment in South Africa. And we feel that when you have got a serious section that is full of energy, particularly the youth, that is not productive, you are allowing that energy to be redirected to other social ills and other problems that we're going to face in South Africa, crime and all of those things. That's why I was saying that it's going to be very important for the government and the private sector to create employment opportunities. The tendency is that in South Africa, everyone waits and fold their arms and wait for opportunities that come from government. The private sector needs to be playing that role. The private sector needs to create decent, sustainable jobs. It can't be a responsibility of government alone. But the essence of what we are raising as the African National Congress Youth League is that there is obviously a need to ensure that we create employment. We heard the president of the country that he is going to look for some billions of rand to be invested in South Africa. We hope that that investment is going to come with job opportunities. But equally, our government must reflect. When we said that the youth wage subsidy is not going to work, it was thrown in by government through a back door. They must account how many opportunities have been created by that, because if no opportunity have been created, the question is why are we even continuing with it to fund the private business? Those are the things that I think that would need to engage with the leadership of the ANC. But equally, we need to engage amongst ourselves as society to see how we move the process forward, because employment opportunities are going to come with small, medium businesses. And that's what we need to encourage. Big conglomerates don't create that much of jobs. And I think that's the point that we want to make, to say, how do we collectively, how does government avail opportunities for the youth and small, medium businesses so that they create employment for our young people, they create employment for the unemployed in South Africa. Now, that has been our preoccupation.
Yes. Now, in the statement that released, you've referred to the National Development Plan's goal of increasing employment by 6% by the year 2030 as a mockery. Why are you of this view?
Well, when you say that in 2 years you want to walk from Johannesburg to Durban, and we find that after 2 years you are still in Johannesburg, that's a mockery. You have not done anything. Why must we continue to be given something that looks good on paper but is not implementable? And that's why it's a mockery, it's a shame. And that's why we're saying that most of the things in the National Development Plan needs to be rethinked, reworked. We can't have a situation where we've got an envisaged objective, but we just don't move an inch on it. That's a problem. And well, if mockery was not a good word, I'm not too sure which word we were going to use. But the essence and the point we're putting across is that we have not done anything, and that's worrisome.
Now, let's look at past initiatives geared at targeting this national crisis of youth unemployment, namely the Umsobomvu Youth Fund, as well as the National Youth Development Agency. Now, how confident are you in this latest initiative, the YES campaign, the Youth Employment Services, recently announced by President Cyril Ramaphosa on targeting this issue? Do you see it playing a big role in improving these figures in the near future?
Well, we don't want to speculate. We are waiting for the implementation of the YES program, and we'll see what comes out of it. But we are quite certain that we need to do something. If the YES program is going to employ 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 people, that's good. But if it's just going to be a program that people are going to use in boardrooms to use as an academic exercise, then that's a problem. We are waiting. We can't speculate. We can't think that it's 10,000, 5,000. Let's just wait and see so that we're able to judge programs of government having made an observation of what they have been able to do as an impact in society.
Okay, one last question. Say, now you've called on government to urgently convene a jobs summit. What are you hoping to see the outcomes of this summit be?
The intention here is to have some form of an understanding between the private sector and the public sector, and how the two must work together in order to create jobs. It can't be that government must be used, particularly when the private sector feels that is aggrieved against the people of South Africa, or aggrieved against the conditions upon in which they exist. Government must take initiatives to put pressure and target to them to ensure that we create these jobs or opportunities, because outside of them, the future that must look bright for the youth is not. In fact, it's looking blink. And once it goes blinker, the problem is that we don't know what might be the result of the people. They might just end up deciding what they want to do. And when they decide what they want to do, out of the fact that they are suffering from poverty, we might just not be able to control them as government, and we might not be able to control them as people that are law enforcement agencies. And we don't want that situation. That's why I was saying government must stand up, must rise to the occasion to ensure that together with the private sector, they give us an outcome that is favorable for the youth that must have a brighter future in South Africa.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mkhize, for your time. That was ANC Youth League National Spokesperson Mlondi Mkhize speaking to us following their march in Ekurhuleni earlier today, where they're marching against this scourge of youth unemployment. We cross now to for a quick break, and we'll be back with more news. Stay with us.